After finding out Zombie Army VR is coming out, I thought I'd try Sniper Elite VR. And I know it has mixed to negative reviews on Steam, but surely it can't be that bad. Besides, I love all the other Sniper Elite games, although I've never played number 1, and I don't think number 2's aged quite so well, but they were definitely good for the time. All the others have been my favourite, and I enjoy playing all of them. So in this video, I will be reviewing Sniper Elite VR. We'll be playing this on the Quest 3, so let's get into the gameplay. From the moment you start the game, you're hit with the cold water. You realise how jank it's going to be. They implement the Half-Life Alyx, like the force grab, where you flick your hand, but it's so poorly implemented and so frustrating that it doesn't work half the time, so you end up doing it 3-4 times, and it just gets frustrating very quickly, because it does not work half the time. And some of the controls are horrible to use. I recommend changing this setting to offhand, and then it feels much better, but not great. Sniper Elite is known for its X-ray kill cams, and it's still in this one, and it's still great as always. However, because it's VR, the less you see of it, the better, especially if you want to play this for longer periods of time without getting sick. There is different options you can use, so you can disable the follow camera, and you can lower the amount of kill cams, or you completely turn it off entirely. That kind of ruins the fun of it. Sniper Elite VR offers plenty of variety in weapons. You get some machine gun, shotguns, rifles, pistols. For some reason they all feel and play horribly, except from the STG. So I mainly just used the STG because it was the only one that felt good and didn't feel like arse to shoot and play with. The shotguns are terrible. The double barrel shotgun is just horrible and exhausting to try and use. The pump action shotgun, the trench shotgun, is just awful to use as well. I don't know why, it just feels so clunky and horrible to use. There are challenges you can do with each gun, and they are displayed when you turn the gun to the left, or like sideways, and they unlock skins by the looks of them, if you care about that. I got one for the World Rod. I didn't even realise I had it until I picked it up in this bit of the game. I wondered what even the skin was. It just looks rusted. It's kind of cool. Gives you something to progress to. And then it looks like there's 3 for each gun. I don't really know. I don't really care enough to know either. The gameplay of Sniper Elite VR is just what you expect from a Sniper Elite game. You pick them off one by one, getting them classic and iconic X-ray kill cams. You can snipe their skull, see the bullet go through, snipe their eyes out, their balls, you name it. But when it comes to VR, you're working the bolt, you are aiming down the sights manually, so it gets extremely jank. And especially when you go to grab the bolt, and then like you do the bolt, and then you go to grab your gun again, your hand goes to the bolt again. And this could be solved easily by having the trigger be the bolt, like grip, and then grip being for your, like, grabbing the gun. But there's no implementation of that, and it gets very frustrating because you just work the bolt when you just want to grab the gun. So it gets very frustrating, and it gets extremely janky. All the missions are action-packed and quite a lot of fun. It is very linear, and it does funnel you down certain ways, and it does throw you out of the action very abruptly, and it just makes you question, oh, that was it. And at the end of each mission, there are optional, well, I say optional objectives you can complete, but they're not very optional, because you've got to complete a certain amount to unlock the next mission, and then the mission after that. So if you don't have enough stars, you have to go back and do some dumb challenge to progress further through the missions and story. Honestly, it just feels lazy and cheap, like it's trying to pad out the gameplay, because there's only a set number of missions to play, and it's only single player, so there's no multiplayer, no survival, it's just these odd couple of missions. There is a implementation of stealth into the game, but it's so confusing and doesn't work half the time. Sometimes you can run around like you're John Wick and no one bats an eye. Then 1 minute you're trying to go sneaky, hide behind stuff, and you get spotted instantly. When it comes to VR, you think you'd be able to like interact with things like turning a valve or pulling a lever, which you can do in this. They've at least implemented that. Or like interacting with the generators. You think you'd like mess with it. Instead, you just hold the trigger on a valve, hold the trigger on the generator, and it just does it, which is kind of lazy and boring. Even placing satchels, you just hold your finger and you just point at it until it appears like you're a magician. It just feels cheap and lazy. And speaking of lazy, the missions, they're not all unique. Reuse the levels. You may take a different path, but it's the exact same map. You're just doing a different objective in a different place. And this isn't just happens once, it happens a few times. Most levels are often used twice, so you'll just end up coming back to it again later, which is lazy. The story isn't well written nor fleshed out. For example, Carlos in this mission, he's mentioned how they help each other out. Our main character here is like looking over him, looking out for him, and then he's never mentioned again, never seen again. That's the only mission with him in. Half-assed, half-told story. There isn't much voice acting in the game. You got, of course, the Germans, but when there is voice acting in the game, it is terrible. Take a listen to this.
Not so fast, sniper! I've got a bullet with your name on it!
The game is best played at your own pace, but for some reason they introduce this really annoying sound every 20 seconds to remind you the objective is over there and you should go do the objective. And it happens every 20 seconds or so, and it is really annoying. So I've clipped together probably 2 minutes worth of footage to show how often this noise plays, how frustrating it is, and I've checked in the settings. I could not find an option to turn it off, and it is really annoying. And at the end is my genuine reaction to it. I fucking know the objective's there. Overall, Sniper Elite VR could be a great game, should be a great game, but unfortunately it is terribly executed, janky, and tedious to play. But it should and could be a great game if it had more effort and time put into it. I only hope Sniper Elite, Zombie Army, whatever, is much better. Is it worth playing? No. Is it worth buying? Maybe on sale, might be worth a bit of fun. Overall, I will probably never play this again. Thank you for watching until the end. If you liked this review, give it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike. Tell me what you liked in the comments or disliked in the comments. Subscribe for more. And that's pretty much about it. See ya.